Eric Burgess here. 28% of people go on a hike once every 6 months. Choose 3 people at random. Find the probability that A, all 3 hike once every 6 months, and B, at least one of 3 hike every 6 months. This just means repeat what's above it. So I was too lazy to write out the whole thing. Sorry. So, okay, looking at this, we say, all right, well, there's two things here. Let's go for A. A is pretty straightforward. We've got 3 people, so that's like we have 3 spots: spot 1, spot 2, spot 3, and we're told that the chance that they go on a hike is 28%. So that means the chance the first person goes on a hike is 28%, the second person goes on a hike is 28%, third person is 28%. And since they're all hiking, that means the first person hikes and means to multiply, the second and the third. So we're going to get that. That's 0.28 raised to the third. And we get 0.02, we're going to round to 2 places, 0.022. Now we move on to part B. At least one of the 3 goes on a hike. Well, with this one comes this whole can of worms, essentially. Because, right, this person could go on a hike. That'd be the 0.28. And then the next person, they could go on a hike. And then the next person, maybe they don't go on a hike. So that'd be 1 minus 0.28. But what about, so there's this other thing, so we'd have to add, what if the next person, what if they went on a hike? This middle person, though, they didn't go on a hike, 1 minus 0.28. And then this next person, they also didn't go on a hike, 1 minus 0.28. And you'd have to go through and find all these combinations and do all these things. So this is just not a great way of doing it. So there is a really nifty way of doing it called the complement. So if we say at least one, well, what's the opposite of at least one? It's kind of a weird thing to think of like an opposite for that, but what would be the one condition at least one doesn't include? That's a better way of saying it. So there's, right, if we add 3 things, well, let's just say at least one is A. Well, if there's an A here, that's at least one is A. These could be other things. If we had an A here, these could be other things. The only condition where at least one is A isn't covered is where everything is not A. So this one is the only condition that's included. If you include an A at all, at least one of them, it will be an A. Well, you could have 3 A's, you could have 10 A's, doesn't matter. There will be at least one that's an A. So the only time it's true is when none of them are there. So that means the complement of at least one is none. It's the one thing it doesn't include. So remember that an event, let's say we had an event A, and its complement has to equal 1. So for example, this is the event that it rains, plus the event that it doesn't rain, no rain. Well, it either rains or it doesn't rain. That's 100% or 1. So we're saying that the event at least one of whatever it is, plus none, the probability that none occurs, that's equal to 100%. Because this is the one thing that isn't in this already. That's why we went and did that whole side spiel. So that means that we can take 100% and take off that none, the probability of none. We'll be left with at least none. It'll be all the other events. So it'll work out all the combinations. If we had at least one of 100, we could just do this and we wouldn't have to deal with that insane number of combinations that would come out. So let's go ahead and use this formula to our advantage. So we're going to do 1 minus the probability of none. Well, what's the chance that no one does it? Well, that they go on a hike once a month is 28%. So the 28%, if we take 100% and then we remove these 28% of people, we'll be left with the people that don't do this. So we're going to do 1 minus 0.28. It's the exact same thing. It's the complement. Just this is an easier case of the complement, right? If we take all of it and then we remove the people that are there, what we're left with is the people that don't do it. just like how here we took off all the conditions that meet this. So this is the one condition doesn't met. So if we have 100%, we take this off, we'll be left with the people where at least 1 is. So at 0.72, and this is going to happen, right? At least 1. Well, none means that the first person doesn't, and the second person doesn't, and the third person doesn't. This is going to be the probability of none. It's 0.72 raised to the third. So that is 0.373. So we have 1 minus 0.373, whatever this is. 1 minus 0.373 is 0.627. So this is the probability that at least one of the 3 will go on a hike once every 6 months. So I really tried to explain the complement and give you just a really clear picture of what's happening. If you're still a bit fuzzy about it, feel free to drop a comment down below. And also, if you're a Citrus College student, definitely feel free to stop by online tutoring. We're there to help you out and tackle stuff like this. Subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos, and we'll catch you in the next problem.